At 7 o'clock p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on December 6th, 2016 at 10:45 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Please turn your cell phones off. You don't need to turn your children off because they're adorable. Councilor Lovely absent. Council President Turiel presiding. Councilor Formico moves to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I now request that we all rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Epley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And thank you for that emphatic whatever it was. Before we begin, we have one of our happy occasions. We have several new firefighters being sworn in, and for that, I'd like to motion to suspend the rules. So moved by Councilor Epley, to allow the mayor and the fire chief to come in and address the council and discuss this, and we can do what is always one of the happiest things we do here.
It is. Thank you for the opportunity to come before you this evening. It's great that we have such a full chamber as we welcome 5 new firefighters onto the Salem Fire Department. Many of you may recall we were here not too long ago swearing in promotions and superior officers, and as we do that, that means we're normally filling ranks down below, and definitely excited about adding these additional young men. Yeah, most of them are pretty young, right? Yeah. Young men to these ranks, and already I know the chief would like to share with you some of the work that they've already completed just to get to this point, and we're so proud to be able to support our fire department. As you know, we've purchased new equipment. We've got a new ladder truck prepared for our next fiscal year as well, and I think it's a tribute to our city and our community, and certainly to this body, that we work hard to make sure we have the resources to invest not just in people, but in training and equipment as well, and I'm very pleased to be in a position for us to be able to do that. And with that, I'll introduce Chief Cody, who I know wants to say a few words before we officially swear anybody in. Buddy?
You want to speak first?
Help him up.
He may do a better job. Thank you very much for having us here again. What I would like to do is introduce the 5 gentlemen. To my far right, Chris Donahue, Raymond Rust, Brad Sullivan, Mike Levesque, and Andrew Sievert. All of these gentlemen came off a civil service list, and they're all veterans. So very nice to have them aboard. And they all got to see their first Halloween in Salem. So these guys will be going to the academy. Their first day is December 29th, and then they'll be there for 10 weeks, and then back to us and onto the trucks. I'd ask you, as soon as we swear you in, is to see Eileen in the corner, sign the book, take about 5 minutes, pictures, and then we'll get out of their hair so they can finish their meeting tonight. But again, thank you very much. Have happy holidays.
Thank you.
Chief, you want to come over?
Yes.
Zoom looks great.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I
Andrew Sievert.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as a firefighter,
as a firefighter,
acting to the best of my ability and understanding,
acting to the best of my ability and understanding,
agreeably with the Constitution and laws
agreeably with the Constitution and laws
of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Salem,
of the City of Salem,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I, Michael Levesque,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
We'll do it after. Actually, do you want to do it?
Do you want to wait for them to sign it?
Sure.
Wait for them
Okay,
to
yeah.
sign it.
Councilor Gerard?
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. I asked that we move out of order to page 11.
Everybody,
I'm sorry, a recess. A recess. Can we have a recess?
Yeah, we'll-
2-minute recess?
all right, Councilor Gerard, any objection? See none? Yes.
Mr. Krajewski immediately after
Yes.
this recess.
Yeah, so I'll do a recess and then,
Yep.
all right, recess declared, so. Just so you know, we will be handling the other fire-related matter, the dedication. Not worrying about right now. We have a motion to resume. So moved. Motion to resume. So moved by Councilor McCarthy. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go out of order to page 11, the dedication of a bench.
All right, Councilor Gerard moves that we go out of order to page 11. Seeing no objection. Communication from the mayor.
We have an order for a dedication of a newly installed bench at Patton Park on School Street with a plaque in honor of the late Ray Krajewski, lifelong resident of Salem, spending most of his life in North Salem, who served our nation with distinction during the Vietnam era, and an active member of the American Legion, and most importantly, a devoted husband, brother, father, and grandfather.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know if I'm going to get through this without crying. Mr. Krajewski was a phenomenal human being, and he was the patriarch of an equally phenomenal family who's here tonight. When he passed away in October, I had inquired about having a bench dedicated to him because I know he and Mrs. Krajewski walked around Patton Park, and this was at a perfect time where Patton Park was being redone, thankfully through CPA funds, and so we were able to do it. And as all of you saw in your paperwork, that the mayor and I equally strongly support this, and so hopefully all of you will too, that we will dedicate a bench in memory of Mr. Krajewski, who is missed. And we do have some family members from the Krajewski family that I would ask for a suspension of the rules if they wanted to address us.
I'll say, well, first, Councilor Gerard moves for adoption on this. Any other discussion? See none. Councilor Gerard would like to moves for suspension of the rules to allow members of the Krajewski family to speak if they wish. Second. Seeing no objection. Ray, anybody?
Just want to, on behalf of my dad, big hole in our hearts, but you just filled a big hole by doing what you did. He was the general of that park, we used to say. He was always looking out, who's that guy? Who's this? Why are they sitting there? Why they, if there was something right, he knew about it. And then the other half of the equation was my mom. She mowed that lawn, she weeded the flower beds. That was her pride and joy, it kept her busy. For you to do this for my dad is just a huge honor. We can't thank you enough, and it really just lets us know how many people he touched, and not only in our neighborhood, but in the city of Salem. So from the Krajewski family to all of you, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We've been married 50 years, and he's gone now. But I had a wonderful, wonderful marriage. I was so lucky, and I have beautiful kids from him, and they're wonderful too.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Gerard's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? So moved. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for being there. Somebody can make a motion to return. Councilor Gerard.
Actually, Mr. President, if I can make a motion to go to page 8 to continue to take us out of order. Just,
We'll do this
or
first?
actually, I'm sorry, to return to the regular meeting for public testimony.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor Gerard moves that we return to the regular to meeting for regular public testimony. Seeing no objection. Public testimony. We have 4 people signed up. We'd say and 15-minute public comment period. So, for total. But our first person signed up is Jeff Cohen. Jeff.
Bless you.
Jeff Cohen, 12 Hancock Street, Salem. I'm commenting on 289 Derby Street. At Monday's subcommittee, there was public testimony in favor. As a matter of fact, everyone who spoke in favor. They were included in that was Salem residents, some who are neighbors of the site, 2 iconic businesses that have brought people to Salem and also have been a joy to residents of Salem. The owner of the adjacent property, who's been a contributor to Salem in many ways, and the police chief, who believes that it will actually increase public safety. I believe that the most compelling arguments in favor are the 2 most compelling arguments in favor are economics, as tourism is a vital industry to Salem, and the quality of life for all of our residents. Public space is for living, doing business, and playing. Its value can't be measured with economics or mathematics. It must be felt with the soul. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next person we have signed up, Claudia Parrish.
Hi, 20 Fowler Street. So I was also at the meeting on Monday and saw the great support from everyone there. There were actually no one spoke against the project from the public. So I compiled a really long list, which I'm not going to read, of like over 25, line items of why 289 Derby Street should become a good public space. But I just wrote a little bit here that I wanted to read to you. So I moved here to the East Coast from Los Angeles in 2008 to go to grad school and figure out a way to use design, I'm an architect, as a tool for increasing social equity. I thought I would focus on affordable housing, which is very important. What surprised me, however, is how incredibly important public space is to equity, not just to those most marginalized in even our good city of Salem, but for everyone, from a child to a family to a business owner. We already have heard in previous meetings that the surrounding businesses enthusiastically support the project. So I'll leave you with one famous example that surprised me when I was in school that I learned about. So this is about Central Park in New York, which is a very different scale, but on July 21st, 1853, the New York State Legislature enacted into law the setting aside of more than 750 acres of land central to Manhattan Island to create America's first major landscaped public park. The winners of the 1858 design competition, along with other socially conscious reformers, understood that the creation of a great public park would improve public health and contribute greatly to the formation of a civil society. Immediately, the success of Central Park fostered the urban park movement, one of the great hallmarks of democracy of 19th century America. So on Monday, people talked about legacy, and we can get profits from tax revenue from numerous parcels that could have condos on them. But there aren't that many parcels so well situated as this one is, with connection to the waterfront, to downtown, continuing the harbor walk, so many different things. So we have the opportunity to truly still make history, which is our tagline, by creating one of the most beautiful, exciting, and dynamic, public spaces that, this opportunity I have not seen since living here, and I just really support it, and if it doesn't pass, I wish I could understand why, because to me it just seems like such a no-brainer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Bill Peterson.
Good evening. Bill Peterson, 4 Watson Street, and architect, business owner at 10 Derby Square, also in Salem. I think it's commendable for the councilors to be concerned with generating tax revenue from a property whenever possible. But I'd like to ask you to consider the impact that that has on all the other properties. The value of each property, whether in property taxes or on their sales revenue, is not just based on their lot, but the adjacency to other lots. So a coffee shop wants to open here because there's something else next to it, not because of that particular lot. And I think you can expand upon that concept when you look at the potential of this lot being a public space, not just one other tax revenue generating property. There's a variety of lots in the city of Salem where public housing or multifamily housing or other housing developments could be developed, but there's so few in downtown Salem to have the potential and the great opportunity that the 2 previous speakers just described. And I won't go any further into that because I think they did a good job of setting that table, but I ask that you reconsider. Thanks.
Thank you. And then the last person we have signed up is Emily Kane.
Hello, I'm actually Jessica Kane. This is Emily, and she wrote most of these words, but is a little stage fright this evening. So thank you, counselors, for letting us speak. We love living right next to McGlew Park. There are lots of kids like Emily who wish for a slide at McGlew. Also, there aren't many things for little kids to do. There's only the swings and running around. We think it would be really great to have more trees to shade people, too. So please vote to support funding the McGlew Park renovations. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes our public testimony. Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can I ask that we go out of order to page 8 to discuss the McGlew?
We'll do that, and then we'll do personal privileges after that. Okay.
Okay.
Any objection? See none. Move to page 8, communication from the mayor. The second item.
We have an appropriation of $100,383 from capital outlay renovation and repair account to cover the city's share of the project to renovate McGlew Park by the planning department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Epley.
Mr. President, I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Typically, I believe this is something we would refer to committee, but I've been asked by the good Ward 6 councilor that this be considered this evening. I'll leave that to the body as to what we wish to do with it. We had some very good testimony that just came from a user of that park. That's very heartwarming. But I would defer at this point to Councilor, the Ward 6 councilor, if she chooses to speak.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, I would like this to be approved. I asked for this to be approved tonight. As you recall, the last meeting we had approved the grant from the state, and so the way the process works is that we have to approve the grant in order for us to give us the money, and we have to pay some of those monies, put in some money for the actual project. And this is the same exact process that we did with Mary Jane Lee. We have already awarded $79,000 in CPA funds, of which I believe there's about $46,000 that's left over that we've already appropriated there. Also, we have another, I think it was about $100,000 of community development block grant money that's already gone to this project. And so really, this is just the last piece. As I mentioned, the last meeting we approved the grant. This is just it. This is what has to be done in order for us to go forward. And it seems like we should just get it done tonight. Thank you.
Any further? This is Councilor Fury.
Mr. President, fellow members, one of my first motions as a councilor about 20 years ago, sitting with Councilor Epley, is I made a motion for lights at Bertram Field. And we looked around and had formed a committee, and Commissioner of Recreation and Parks, Larry McIntyre, used to go to that park quite often, McGlew Park. He called it the pit. He had a friend named Jack Welch, who happened to be the head of General Electric, one of the largest corporations in the world. And one of his best friends, Superintendent Curtin, I had the pleasure of serving on the school committee with. And the two of them contacted Jack Welch, Eddie Curtin, and Larry McIntyre, contacted Jack Welch to allow that opportunity to take place. A lot of people have had their lives moved at McGlue Park. They call it the pit. Many of us don't call it the pit. But look who grew that up there, and look what the legacy, it's touched the lives of so many people back then and now. So this is a great investment to this future of Salem. Thank you very much.
Councilor Ryan.
I definitely rise in support. Being a little kid your age, I grew up in that park. I probably spent many hours in the 80s and 90s, and we didn't call it the pit, but we knew why it was called the pit. No, I changed a little bit. Councilor Dibble, they put new basketball hoops and stuff in, but other than that, we used to be able to dunk on the lower hoops, and then they put new ones, so I couldn't dunk anymore.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
You got your money.
Yes. Well, we have to move to the... Councilor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we move back to our regularly scheduled portion of this program.
Councilor Gerard moves that we return to the regular order of the meeting. Seeing no objection, back to page 2, and points of personal privilege. Councilor Fiore.
Mr. President, it's my privilege and pleasure during this night of celebration and happiness indeed, during this Christmas season, initiating the holiday season, initiating and swearing in of the firemen, the future of the fire department. Excited to see that in the families and relatives here, and Krajewski events, marvelous opportunity in the pit. Great celebration. But it's also a time for me as the Dean of the City Council to recognize and respect the role and responsibility of the Council President, Josh Chorio, in this year. This is our final full meeting of the City Council this year. And to look at what we've done the last year and what he has done, it's been amazing. We've handled some amazing issues. One of the issues that lasted almost the whole tenure of your presidency, Mr. President, was the FW Web Corporation, FW Web Company. And it was handled smoothly.
It's still here.
Yes, it is. But the council president sets the tone and the climate of this city council. He appoints the chair people and the members of the committee. He sets the tone and the direction. I think we could have asked for a better person in this time of challenge for the city of Salem, exciting times for Salem, than Josh. It's a time that you really grow. I had the opportunity in 2003 to be council president. I swore then, as I would say now, it should be given to everybody the opportunity to serve as council president. I only want to do it once, and I've only done it once. And to give the opportunity to new members coming in, it's a marvelous opportunity. He's grown. He sees the whole city council, the history, the legacy, these pictures, these paintings come alive. He made this city council, made local government, where the rubber hits the wheel, democracy in action. Josh, we could have asked for a better council president. On behalf of a very grateful council, may we present you this token of our appreciation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Speech.
Yes. A very, very short one. I'll open this up first, let's see.
Oh.
It's a plastic bag.
Yeah.
It's a new gavel.
Back with an intact gavel. No, I have to swap these two out. This one should probably be retired. People get hit by shards from it. Thank you very much. This has been an interesting year. There's, it's the old legendary curse of may you live in interesting times, and I think we are living in very interesting times, both at the city level and elsewhere. And as this year has gone, we've had a lot of issues come before us. We've had, as the good at-large councilor said, we've had issues that have pretty much dominated the conversation this year. I'm very proud and flattered to have had the privilege of trying to help us maneuver through many of those, and I only wish that I and we could have done still more. And I hope next year we're able to have a good, productive year, and move through. And I know, there's a lot of things that we can do for the city of Salem when we all work together. And I look forward to, a continued year of that. I'm glad to have served for this year, and I'm really looking forward to being back in one of those seats in a few weeks. So thank you very much, everybody. Any further points of personal privilege? Councillor Famico.
President, this upcoming Tuesday, December the 13th, from 5 to 8 p.m. is the Salem Children's Charity 24th Annual Holiday Fundraiser. About every year, it brings in roughly $24,000 in the month of December, and that money goes to school children that are in time of need. It could be for fuel assistance, eyeglasses, winter coats, food, after-school programs, a mix of everything with no overhead costs. So a lot of it's just the proceeds go directly to the kids. It's not paying anyone positions or anything else. But if anyone at home is willing or wants to come, as well as the counselors and city staff, we would love to have you. And once again, that's next Tuesday, December 13th, 5 till 8 to 9 p.m. It depends on the night, right at Victoria Station.
Thank you,
Mr. President.
Any other, Councillor Gerard?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a quick point of personal privilege that on Sunday at 10 a.m. will be, I think, the 3rd or 4th annual Festivus 5K.
It's the 5th, I think, this time.
5th?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I'm looking forward to running with you again, hopefully representing our wards. And it's for a great cause. So if you haven't done it before and you want to come out and register and run a 5K on Sunday morning, please join us.
Every year, mysteriously, you beat me by a few more minutes. It's funny how that works.
Because you get older.
That's true. So you're just not doing it as fast. Any other points of personal privilege? Councillor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have to echo our good at-large councillor's comments that I think you've done a phenomenal job this whole year. With me being the only freshman councillor, I've followed your leadership and I've enjoyed the direction that you've given me along the way, so thank you.
Thank you.
I rise for a point of personal privilege through you, Mr. President, that most of you know that I was away last week, there being no meetings, so I shared some family time away. But I received a heck of a whole lot of emails and cell phone messages in the limited reception that I did have, being way off in northwest Pennsylvania in the middle of almost nowhere. But I found it hard listening to the conversation of sanctuary cities, and I need to bring that up to your attention here tonight through you, Mr. President, that, again, this being my first year, I wish that we had received the document in advance before it was in the newspaper, before I had many, many phone calls received, being quoted in the newspaper that, or being recommended in the newspaper that most of us, or all of us, would be in support of such a thing. I am not in favor of sanctuary city. I am in favor of helping our friends that live within the city of Salem and others, but being a sanctuary city, I am not in favor of that at all. And I wish that that information had come to us prior to being released to the newspaper, prior to a lot of rumblings and waves happening along the way. So I'd like to sit now, but I am disappointed that this took place. Being a freshman councilor, it shouldn't happen this way, Mr. President. Thank you.
I will take note from the chair that it did get initially filed, and it did get initially filed through the through the committee and their representation. It has since been withdrawn and is being reworked for them to. They hope to bring it back before us next month, and I think that's fine. We can consider it in due course at that point. But at the moment, it's not before us, and it was withdrawn before going onto the agenda officially. So. Any further points of personal privilege? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will be brief, which is untypical for me, but I too want to rise and say thank you I speak for everybody in the room who's been the council president until you actually pick up that gavel and try to control what goes on in this room and have an understanding of what is in the relationship that you have to have with Cheryl and Eileen, and to make everything work. It's not easy. It's not easy, and it takes. I always said when I was council president, I when you're just hitting your stride, it's like they want to take it away from you, because it takes you 6 months to figure out. It's a lot easier to sit on the floor and raise your hand and ask to be recognized than say something, but it's when you have to be up there and have to remember what order you have to remember how to recognize stuff, do everything, and to the point when it becomes almost second nature. It's to the point where everyone's sitting there is and then they want to take the gavel away. It's almost time for you to be done. Someone else is going to be taking your seat. It's like, whoops, what just happened? But I want to just rise and say thank you for your leadership this year. It's been a long time since the first time we officially met, when a former colleague of ours introduced us, and it's been I think it's been a great relationship since. I think you represent your ward well, and you represented this body very well for the last year, and I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. You've been a terrific colleague for the last 5 years and a very good friend also, and I note that. So, any further points of personal privilege? Seeing none, we'll move on. Hearings.
The public hearing on the issue of allocating the local property tax levy among 4 property classes for the fiscal year 2017 and the residential open space and small commercial exemptions.
All right. Present we have, well, she was here, Mayor Deborah Jackson, Director of Assessment, Assistant Director Jim Bond, Assistant Assessor Steve Cortez, and our Board of Assessors of Gigolta, Damian Johnson, Robert Millerick. So I'll turn this over to the Mayor and Deb. Want to guide us through this here?
Thank you for your time. Much appreciated for our annual visit to the City Council. Thank you, City Council, Mayor, Finance Director, Dominic. I'd like to introduce you to Stephen Cortez, who's in the corner. He's one of our assistant assessors. Damian Johnson, one of our board members. Bob Millerick, another board member, and Chairman Rich Gigolta on our board. As usual, it's a quick year. It doesn't seem like that long ago that we were here. Sure why this is not working. You may have to do that. I'm not sure it's going to work. No. Oh, I got it. No. I got it. Okay, I figured it out. Just to reiterate what we do and what your job is tonight, throughout the whole year, we do a lot of analysis on sales, inspections of properties, annual inspections, and the classification hearing is just, we've added up all the values, and the City Council decides what the residential factor is. Okay, so it's the 4. Tonight, what we've been consistent with for the past about 8 years has been or actually longer than that, the 1.65 conversion of the commercial property at a higher rate, which gives a low rate of 0.872757. That would be the residential factor. And we do not approve the open space discount because we don't really have any open space yet. And we do not have, historically, we have not voted for the residential exemption, the small commercial exemption. Just a few key words. The levy is the total amount to be raised. The levy limit, which I'll show you later, is the highest amount we could possibly raise. I'm happy to say we're almost $5 billion below that. And the levy ceiling is at the upper end of the spectrum, way above what we can raise. And new growth, which is an integral part of what we do in our office, helps increase the levy limit. So for 17, the limit is 90 million, and we're raising 85,600,551,000. And as I said, we're 5 million under the levy limit, which is not a bad place to be. Just go back to new growth. Oh, sorry. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. David, you're going to help me with that? I could. The growth, actually, let me do, okay, there we go. There we go. This year, we ended up, actually, 12 million in single-family growth is quite a bit for us. We had about 22 new single families. Condominiums, we had about 50 new condominiums this year as compared to the few lean years recently. Twos and threes, we never have quite as much. Multis, again, commercial, but the personal property is phenomenal. Yes, our streets are being dug up, and we do end up getting some support financially from that ultimately through new growth. So 1.8 million is actually about $500,000 higher than we had last year and significantly higher than we've had in the prior few years. The economy definitely, we're always about 2 years behind in what we do. So happy to say probably 2013, we started to see the real turnaround, and it's still been very positive. I am sorry about this. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong.
Just tell them when to do the next slide.
Okay. Next. In our analysis, we looked at good sales that are not just family sales, and you can see condominiums are almost equal to the number of single families. We get the most sales, it's the biggest turnover, they're the low end, usually lower value properties, and they're going like hotcakes. The singles, couple hundred, multifamilies, 88. The other sales mixed use, we don't really have a lot of land, so we don't have too many sales. In the commercial, we do wait and use a lot of income. So average value change, we've seen a 2.8% increase in the average single family from 16 to 17. So the average single family is now 337,400. The condo 249,500. Two family 382,700. The three families 292. Apartment buildings about 1 million. Commercial just went up very slightly. And industrial, we actually probably have had properties go out of being industrial. I'm not sure. They might have gone commercial. They were commercial land that might now be converted to something else. But we saw almost a 3.5% deduction in industrial properties. Citywide properties, as I said, the majority, it's 80% singles and condos, and about 20% the twos and threes. And the remainder, it's only about 10 to 12% that's the commercial industrial property in town and apartments. Back to the average, over the last 5 years, we look at all the neighboring communities. We have one of the lowest 5-year average of increase, which is a nice thing to see. Go ahead, Damien. For FY17, we're right in the middle. The average single-family increase is $197. As you can see, Marblehead's at the highest increase, and Peabody, which usually is at the lowest increase at this time. Single-family, 197 average increase. Only 38% of the properties are above that average value. 62% below. In the condo, the two families, as I said, 38% above, 62% below the average value. Three families, a little closer, 55%. The average two-family bill is just increased 78, 15 a month, and the three-family 206. They make up 20% of the properties. They're selling quickly. What else? Average commercial. Commercial has just gone up slightly, 23% above. The majority are still small businesses in Salem, despite some of our bigger properties up on Highland Ave. So that's low. So as you can see, the property values are starting to go up again. The peak was 2005, 2006, dipping down, and I mean, we've had a very healthy market. We don't even have that much inventory to sell. for people to buy. So, but the values are continuing to go up. Our overall values up almost to $4 billion, which is healthy. So the residential factor that is before you with the adoption, the residential properties are almost 84%. With the shift of 1.65, it lessens the burden on the residents. It makes it so the residents only would carry the 73.39%, the commercial 17.44%, industrial 3.93%, and the personal property 5%. So it shifts it, makes it about 27% versus the, for commercial versus the 15%. So with that rate, the new rate would be $15.86 for residential. That's the total amount of residential property. And the commercial would be $29.99. That shifts the burden a little more on the commercial. And the total to be raised is $85,551. And that's really it on the presentation. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the council? Councilor Fumiko.
For you, Mr. President. Just a quick question. It's not really with the tax rate, just a question with this data. With this breakdown, you showed the different amounts of apartments and houses and everything. Do you have data on that with the amount of bedrooms in each of these?
We have total bedrooms. We do not have necessarily. In the newer projects we do. What we get into, we have all the data. Yes, in general, we have most of it, but.
And do you also have the age of the sellers and buyers?
Of the sellers and buyers?
Because if you're looking at people that are buying, for example, 3-bedroom condo units, they might be, say, 27, 28. I'd be
No.
interested in seeing that. I don't know if it's possible to see.
I would call the multiple listing, talk to realtors. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that.
Just a thought.
Gets into census
We do
data.
send out sales verification, but that's not one of the questions.
I'd be interested in knowing going further, and that's my only question. Didn't really deal with the numbers, but just the data collection.
Sure.
And thank you for all your work on this. And to your board as well.
Any other questions from members of the city council? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you.
Yep.
It looks like you've done a wonderful job in keeping the residential tax rate increase for this year, bare bone minimum, I think. What does that translate in commercial? How much is that going up or down in percentage?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Do you have that? The amount going up, there was one there?
I would ask also for for Councilor Dibble's edification, such some of the historic split, what that split data would be, from year to year.
The split?
Well, the factor that we're using on this.
We've had the 1.65 for about the last.
Yeah.
So that's been the same. We have not changed that. But the commercial. I think that one. Okay, the commercial. The commercial average increase, the dollar amount is $327, and it's 1.85%.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions from members of the council?
Just want to
Mayor,
make
yep.
one point that might be, that I want to make sure it's not lost on the council. Thanks, Ed, for all your work putting this together. We are adding, as we have done in the past, $1.3 million in free cash to help reduce the gross amount to be raised through taxation. I want to make sure people recognize that we are trying to be judicious about budgeting. This is not something we take lightly in terms of setting the tax rate, just like setting the budget, when obviously those two things are very much related. The $1.3 million is, we're able to put that funding in because we've done a great job, I think, judiciously budgeting, and when we have additional resources, we want to return those to the taxpayers. So this increase would have been higher had we not taken those dollars. We also typically, and you'll see the orders coming up, sweep funds within golf course, our receipts reserved accounts, the golf course, the witch house. We budget for those items, they bring in revenue. We sweep the revenue then to help reduce the gross amount to be raised through taxation. So I just want folks to know that we're doing everything we can to try and keep taxes as low as possible while still investing in the things that we care about as a community. This year's budget incorporates obviously educational increases. We've been expanding learning time. We're paying for new buildings. A lot of the debt services come on in FY17 for the Collins Middle School repairs and the Salt and Salt repairs. Those are multi-million-dollar upgrades. The Essex Tech investment that we've made as a community. We're paying for those things today. We just had the fire department here. We are fully funded and fully staffed within police and fire. Vital things in terms of making sure that neighborhoods are safe and that we have the sort of resources we need to meet the demands of a growing city. And then last but not least, clearly infrastructure. We triple the amount of roads we're repaving this year. We're trying to be really thoughtful around investments in public services. And you know that because you're approving those items coming in. But all of that obviously factors in to what we're able to, to the funding that we have. And real estate taxes are the largest supply of resources that we bring in. We have seen federal and state funds kind of continue to dwindle. This is the second year in a row our state local aid was less than the year before. So that means we've got to make up some of those resources in other areas. And while we continue to be, I think very aggressive with respect to grant funding and going after those program and project funds, there are things that we have to pay for, general government services, and this budget, obviously, in this tax rate setting process, need to incorporate those two things. But $1.3 million in revenue is going back to taxpayers to help bring down this cost. So.
Hey, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the third time that I've gone through this process of, in the spring, we handle the budget, and in the winter now, we handle setting the tax rate. And one of the things that's helped me understand municipal funding, essentially, is that the budget period is for lack of a better term, the less sexy time, in that you're going.
I think it's pretty sexy. I think it's sexy. All right.
As the finance chair this year, I'm all for it, but I'm just saying for those of us that maybe aren't.
We dig numbers. We dig numbers. Okay.
And for those specifically, that's something that's not necessarily as exciting when you're going through several weeks worth of budget hearings and so forth and going through line by line as to what goes on. It's not something that's necessarily covered in the Salem News at that time. What is covered, though, is when the bills come due. And that's what this is, and that's kind of the way I view it, is that in December, we're essentially paying for what we already agreed to. So the bills have come due now, and so now we're setting a tax rate. This is the most unpopular vote that we ever have to take, is this vote tonight. And so I just wanted to I guess, highlight the fact that we're essentially just paying for the bills that we've already signed up for.
And I think that the council, and I would say the administration, we work hard. It's not lost on us that what we approve in June, we have to pay for in December. And I think we're always looking for ways to be more efficient, using data, trying to be smart about investments. There have been times when people have said, why don't we get this done quicker or faster? Well, we're trying to manage what things cost to taxpayers as well. So it's certainly not easy. I feel your pain, and many of us are taxpayers, and have to sign up to pay these bills as well. And we're trying to be as fair as we possibly can be.
Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. I just have one question. The 1.3 million, where do you come up with that number? Why not more? Why not less? Use a percentage?
That's a really good question. So we've certified free cash at 5.3 million. We've had our fiscal policies around 20% going to stabilization, 20% going into CIP, 10% going into OPEB. We have a few expenses that are carried over. We've got our snowcopolis from 2 years ago that we're still buying down. And then we took the 1.3 number so that we'd still have a little bit of money in free cash for unforeseen expenses that could come up along the remainder of this year going forward until free cash is certified again. But pretty much took the remainder of that and put it towards reducing taxes. So it's a funding formula that we use, trying to look at, let's be smart, let's make sure we have capital funds, that we're preparing for that rainy day. We've got the largest amount we've ever had in our stabilization fund, and frankly, we still want to try and strive to meet GFOA standards. So that's the rationale behind the 1.3, was making sure we had a little bit for our needs going forward, planning for the rainy day with our fiscal policies that have been in place and been adopted since I've been in office, and then giving the rest back to taxpayers to help reduce the tax bill.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just for clarification, budgeteering absolutely is sexy. And it's my favorite time of year. But, so what is left over in free cash once the 1.3 comes out?
Once you take out the 20-25 percentages, retirement stabilization, snowpocalypse, it's a little bit under $1 million.
Right. And is that, and have we left that amount in there at that, like at that level previous years? There's nothing different about this yet?
No, this is pretty standard.
Yeah, we've had $30,000 in free cash when I came in, so this feels like a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And the goal, look, we try to be judicious around budgeting. It's not often that we're coming in looking for supplementals because we really task our department heads. What do you think you're going to need? Let's make sure it's legitimate and then live within it. There are unforeseen things that come in. I think we've got some police, retiree medical expenses, things like that. But for the most part, we want folks chasing the numbers. So if we come in with a supplemental, it's because we're trying to challenge people to live within, a reasonable means.
Mm-hmm. And I will also say that I think with our budgeting process that we get a lot for our dollar. I mean, for what we get for $150 million, it's pretty impressive. So while I agree with my colleague that this is a tough time of year to vote on this, that this is what's going to be on the front page of the news and everything, but this is how we pay for all of these great things that we get to do and all of these services that we get. So.
We certainly hope people see it as an investment in their community. And
Exactly.
while the average single-family home bill is going up $197, we know that 62% of folks will pay below that. So the world of averages, actually, I don't think anybody actually pays that specific amount, 197. 38% will pay a little bit more, 62% will pay less. And we're continually sort of looking at how do we build a better mousetrap and keep costs as low as possible while delivering on the pride in our community and wanting to be safe and know that we've got, as an old city, infrastructure needs that need to be met as well.
Any other questions from members of City Council or comment? Seeing none, I'd open this up to the public. It's a public hearing. Joe Greenis, you're here, so.
Make sure that the voice of the little people are heard. Rinus Oosthoek, 265 Essex Street, Salem Chamber. A couple of things I want to say, different from other times, but with the same request at the end. Only 108 out of 351 communities have a dual tax rate. Always good to remember that a lot of communities don't. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing I want to give you is something to think about, and it's a list of business. Amano, A&B Burgers, Aaron's, Addicted Fashions, Bamboozle, Bangkok Paradise, Black Cow Express, Boston Beat Company, Brick House Cardio, Captain's, Cat and Fiddle, Children's Theater, Custom House, D'Amato's Pizza, Derby Square Books, Eastern Mountain Sports, Edward John Home Decor, Every Occasion, Flirt, Get in Shape, Joya, Glass Etc., Go Out Loud is back, Goddess Treasure Chest, Grapevine, GT Crystal, iTaco, Joe Freedom, Kindercare Learning Center, Leland Creative, Leslie's Retreat, I keep on going, Marine Arts Gallery, McHugh Corporation, Melita Fiore, Mary's Yummy Dog Treats, Mud Puddle, Orange Leaf, Pastelitos, Pagan Moon, Petit 12, Pia, Pulio's Ice Cream, Redemption Fish, Salem Coin and Jewelry, Salem Toy Museum, Seed Stitch, Sophia's, Spark Chiropractic of Salem, the Crafters Market, the Old Spot, the Wicked Cup, Treasures Over Time, and Which City Segway. All went out of business in the last year and a half, 2 years. The commercial tax rate plays a role in that, and as always, if you consider lowering it even a little bit, it will help. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further members of the public or wish to comment? Seeing none, Councillor Epley?
I've got a comment, sorry.
Mayor? We're still open.
I just want to respond briefly to that because I appreciate many of those businesses. I was at their ribbon cutting. You and I were at, the chamber and I were at those ribbon cuttings together, and many of them did not leave Salem or close because of anything to do with the tax rate. And many of those places have actually had new businesses come in. And so if you're going to read a list of businesses that are no longer in Salem, I think we need to put some editorial comment behind that. Primarily, that business is tough. We value our small businesses. The fact that we're not looking to maximize the CIP above 1.65, as has happened in numerous communities, especially when times are tough, we could drive down that 197 by driving up our business tax. That's never been anything that we've contemplated, because we think working with our small business owners is the way that all tides get lifted. Number two, some of these are industry standards. Restaurants open and close. We don't like it. We want to be supportive. We're, I think, an administration in a city that responds to our business community very well. There are people who retire who close their businesses. So, to be fair, there are businesses that have closed here, and I'm sure that for some it was the cost of doing business. But for many of the businesses that are here and thriving, frankly, we are partnering with them on public spaces, in public ways, supporting main streets, having organizations that we're working with collectively, and even the chamber's in my office once a month. There's a strong partnership, and I just don't want people to be misconstruing, reading off a list of businesses that closed, some of whom retired, some of whom left to go to other places, to believe that that's factored into by a high cost of doing business. Because we are really conscious about wanting to make Salem a place that is business friendly, and we've seen impressive growth over the last decade, and I think that is more of a testament than reading off the list of businesses that, for whatever reason, weren't here. And many of those are principals that we know, people that we respect, and valued while they were here.
Well, Councilor Epley, and then Renus, he's the only member of the public here for it, so I'll give him a...
I actually wanted to ask the mayor, relative to what she had just mentioned, of the list that was just mentioned, how many of those businesses that left also received a TIF from the city? I don't think any of them did. So this city is very much committed to bringing business to Salem, and the city council and this administration is very much interested in bringing business to Salem.
Just a quick comment. I read the list without any comment, because the only thing I wanted to do is make you think about it. And I second everything the mayor has said.
Thank you. So if there's no further public discussion, Councilor Epley?
Move to close the public hearing.
Councilor Epley moves that we close the public hearing. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. And they're ready here. If you want to go, does the body want to go out of order and address this now? Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we go out of order to page 6.
Councilor McCarthy moves we go out of order to page 6. Seeing no objection, communication from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $2,421,386.10 from the General Fund free cash to the following special revenue funds: Stabilization Fund, $1,076,171.60. Capital Improvement Fund, $1,076,171. I can't do this. .60. Other post-employee benefits, OPEB 5%, $269,042.90.
Councilor Epley.
Move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor?
I got one just real quick.
Councilor McCarthy.
I'm going to...
Sorry, I didn't see that.
No, that's all right. I'm going to stand up and show my age a little bit, and the fact that starting next year will be my 10th year, and that, Councilor Sargent and Councilor Fury and I have been here a while, and Councilor Ryan's now back, but just so for everybody here and everybody at home, when you look at these numbers, when I came into office, those numbers didn't exist. We didn't have a stabilization fund. We didn't have a capital improvement fund. What we just talked about earlier is like, how are we going to use the free cash? These monies came out of free cash because we didn't plan for people to retire, and it just happened, and you try to find a way to find money to pay them as they would decided to retire. I mean, this goes to the way that everybody in this room, everybody over there, everybody behind me, everyone in this chamber, everyone sat in these seats before us has taken the time and the due diligence to realize that we have to run this city professionally, and this is the way we do it. So when we look at these numbers, we don't take these numbers lightly. These are what we have to do to make the city work and to make this numbers work. And it's the worst vote we're going to take later. None of us take it lightly, is because we all live here. When we raise our taxes, we all hear it. It's something we do lightly, but at the same sense is I don't know, I don't want to even use the word about what the budget process is, but when you go through it, it is backwards, and it's one of the biggest math problems you've ever seen in your life. It's like one of those math problems from high school with a big algebraic equation that goes, it's like you know what the total you want to get, but you have to go backwards to get it. And that's what this is. And we could go at length in describing it, but I just want to make people realize that the number we're voting on, these didn't exist when I started almost 10 years ago. And the fact that we're able to do this speaks volumes of what goes on here. So I just want everyone to know we don't take anything that goes on lightly. And when we come down to setting the rate later, it's something we have to do. And it's just that's because of all the decisions we made previously.
Any further discussion? No. Councillor Epley's motion for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
You have an appropriation of $500,000 from general fund free cash to retirement stabilization fund.
Councillor Epley.
I move for suspension of the rules.
Councillor Epley moved for suspension of the rules. No objection. Councillor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Councillor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councillor Epley's motion for adoption, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
You have an appropriation of $400,000 from the general fund free cash to contributory retirement account.
Councillor Epley.
I move for suspension of the rules.
Councillor Epley moved for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councillor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Councillor Epley moves for adoption. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $1,238,398 from receipts reserves account to reduce the gross amount to be raised by taxation when fiscal year 2017 tax rate is set.
Council, do you need to do the full reading on that?
The receipts reserve Witch House, $208,398. Receipts reserve Golf Course, $760,000. Receipts reserve Harbor Master, $270,000.
Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councillor Epley moved for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objections, Councillor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Councillor moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councillor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say that the golf course that we have here is run phenomenally, and it would help our taxes if more people went out and golf.
Thank you. That's actually, Councillor Fury, if you could take for a moment, I just want to.
Yes, please. Councilor Torriello.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very briefly, I want to this is the one that I want to talk about a little bit. Our golf course, the Witch House, these are, and the Harbor Master Barn, these are enterprises that are run by the city. They have done a remarkable job in recent years of finding ways to run these properties better, produce revenue. We're doing things like storing boats at Winter Island. We're running the golf course in a much better fashion, and it's gotten major improvements done to it and restoration over the last few years. And the Witch House and Pioneer Village are being run better and more professional manner by the city. And these are revenue generating things that the city has. And the money that these generate goes into reducing our tax burden. It goes into helping fund the city's operation, as well as keep investing in these properties to boot. So they're run well, and I've seen the number that these have been able to return to the city every year go up a little bit every single year. In the 5 years I've been here, they do a better and better job of it, and I'm glad that this is one of the things that helps us reduce the burden somewhat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councillor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $1,300,000 from fund balance free cash account to reduce the gross amount to be raised by taxation when fiscal year 2017 tax rate is set.
Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councillor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councillor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councillor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication for the mayor.
We have an order to accept the provisions of Section 4, Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986 for fiscal year 2017, and that such additional exemptions granted by 100% of the statutory exemption amounts, provided all other qualifications specified in said Section 4, Chapter 73 of the Acts of 1986 are met.
Councillor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Councillor moves for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councillor Epley's motion for adoption, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Mr. President, I move that we next go to
page 12, I think.
Yeah, make sure I've got it.
Really, we should go to page 12.
Yes, page 12.
All right. No objections. Mayor's informational page.
We have the letter from the mayor with the recommendation of the setting of the current fiscal year tax rate. The mayor's recommendation is to maintain the current 1.65 CIP split rate, or 874987. The current split maintains a reasonable balance between trying to provide relief to our homeowners while also trying to grow our commercial base.
Councillor Epley.
Before I make a motion to have it received and filed, I would just ask the president and actually the finance director as well as the city assessor, I believe that percentage is incorrect.
So the 1.65 is correct. The number should be 0.872757.
So with that friendly amendment, I move that be received and filed.
So Councillor Epley moves that this be received and filed.
As amended.
As amended. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Step 2. So motions, orders, and resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councillor Epley.
City of Salem and City Council, December 8, 2016, ordered that the City of Salem adopt a residential factor of 0.872757% for fiscal year 2017.
Councillor Epley moves that the City of Salem adopt a residential factor. Can you read that number again?
Yes. 0.872757.
And move that by roll call vote.
And yes, and I would move that this be adopted by roll call vote.
So, Councillor, any further discussion?
No.
On Councillor Epley's motion that this be adopted by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Dibble?
Yes.
Councillor Epley?
Yes.
Councillor Famico?
Yes.
Councillor Fury?
Yes.
Councillor Gerard?
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councillor Milo?
Yes.
Councillor Ryan?
Yes.
Councillor Sargent?
Yes.
Councillor Terrio?
Yes. On the matter of setting a residential factor of 0.872757, 10 councilors present, 10 councilors voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative, the matter carries. Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes that it would not prevail.
Councillor Epley moves for immediate reconsideration, hopes will not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed? Opposed. Matter does not carry. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, December 8th, 2016, ordered that the City of Salem not adopt an open space exemption for fiscal year 2017.
Councillor Epley moves that the city not adopt an open space exemption for fiscal year 2017 by roll call vote.
And by roll call vote.
Yes. Any discussions? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councillor Dibble?
Yes.
Councillor Epley?
Yes.
Councillor Famico?
Yes.
Councillor Fury?
Yes.
Councillor Gerard?
Yes.
Councillor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councillor Milo?
Yes.
Councillor Ryan?
Yes.
Councillor Sargent?
Yes.
Councillor Terrio?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of not adopting an open space exemption for fiscal year 2017, 10 councilors present, 10 voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative, the matter carries. Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem.
The immediate
I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it would not prevail.
Councillor Epley moves for immediate reconsideration, the hopes will not prevail. All those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
Matter does not carry. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, 2016, ordered that the City of Salem not adopt a residential exemption for fiscal year 2017.
Councilor Epley moves that the city not adopt a residential exemption for fiscal year 2017.
By roll call
By
vote.
roll call vote. Seeing no discussion, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Yay.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Turio?
Yes. On the question of not adopting a residential exemption for fiscal year 2017, 10 councilors present, 10 voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes that it would not prevail.
Councilor Epley moves for immediate reconsideration. The hope will not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed? Opposed. Matter does not carry. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, 2016, ordered that the City of Salem not adopt a small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2017, and I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Epley moves the city not adopt a small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2017 by roll call vote. Seeing no further discussion, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Famico? Yes. Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Turio?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of, on the question of not adopting a small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2017, 10 councilors present, 10 voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for immediate reconsideration in the hopes it would not prevail.
Councilor Epley moves for immediate reconsideration. Hopes will not prevail. All those in favor? All those opposed? Opposed. Matter does not carry.
Mr. President, I move for a 2-minute recess to allow circulation of papers that the council need to sign relative to the tax rate.
Councilor Epley moves for recess. No objection? Take a 2-minute recess.
Yeah, if he says it again, I'm going to...
Motion to resume?
Motion to resume back to wherever we originally were.
Councilor Epley moves that we return to our regularly scheduled meeting at page 4. Seeing no objections.
9 o'clock is page 4. What is it?
Appointments and reappointments.
8:30.
We have the mayor's appointment of Janine Liberty at 6 Maple Ave to serve as a member of the Public Art Commission for a term to expire December 8th, 2018.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that it be held under the rules.
Councilor Dibble moves this be held under the rules. Seeing no objections, held under the rules. Further appointments, reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Chrissy Kobielnik,
There you go.
22 Warren Street, to serve as a member of the Renewable Energy Task Force for a term to expire on December 8th, 2019.
Councilor Famico.
Move this be held under the rules.
Councilor Famico moves to be held under the rules. No discussion, held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Christine Madore, 2 Federal Street, to serve as a member of the Salem Redevelopment Authority for a term to expire on December 8th, 2021.
Move this
Councilor
be held
Famico.
under the rules.
Councilor Famico moves to be held under the rules. So moved. Further appointments and
We have
reappointments.
the mayor's appointment of Samuel Hogue and Colin McLean to serve as members of the Salem Youth Commission for a term to expire May 12, 2017.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Ward 2 councilor and myself, I move that this be held under the rules.
Councilor Epley moves that these be held under the rules. So moved. Further appointments and reappointments.
The mayor's reappointment of Mark Snyder to serve as a constable with a term to expire on November 8, 2019.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be received and placed on file.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be received, placed on file. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. And now to forward. Communications from the mayor, page 8, at the bottom.
We have an appropriation of $82,856 from capital outlay renovation repair account to initiate design phase service for Boston Street roadway improvement project by the engineering department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Counselor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Counselor Epley.
I move for adoption.
Counselor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. In 2013, when I ran for office the first time for council, this has been on my agenda on behalf of Ward 4 and for the city of Salem, is to get Boston Street fixed and completely done over. It's overdue. This appropriation is actually not even city tax dollars that are going toward this. This is actually money that we receive as part of a community benefit agreement that we have with alternative therapy groups, which is on Grove Street, the medicinal marijuana clinic that's in town. So that money, that $82,856, which has come from ATG, is going to be used to help put together a design for us to be put in the queue with the state to get state funding for that, hopefully in the not too distant future. So I'm hoping that this is something that has already been within our budget discussion from this past spring, and this just brings it to full fruition tonight. So I'm hoping that I can count on my colleagues to pass this evening.
Councilor Ryan.
As a former Ward 4 counselor, I was also in that battle. Go figure, I move out, my street gets paved, and I'll back the hospital again. It's Murphy's Law, the Irish way, I guess. I don't know. But I rise in support. I mean, Boston Street needs to be done. It's a main entrance, and it's always on the back burner, so it's about time it's starting to get looked at.
So I would comment that if the at-large counselor wants to move to another neighborhood and get his current neighborhood paved, that would...
Ward 6 is already on the side.
So, any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor. Councilor Epley.
We have an appropriation of $35,000 from fund balance free cash account to planning contracted services account.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moves for suspension of the rules.
Opposed?
No objection. Councilor Epley.
Actually,
Opposed?
no, I'll actually move that this go to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-post with the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, Councilor Epley now moves that it goes to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-post with the Committee of the Whole. Under discussion?
No discussion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $30,000 from the fund balance free cash account to police medical active account.
No, this is the police medical. No, that's coming. Not there yet. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Per the request of Chief Butler from our police department and through the mayor and finance department chief, what we have before us is essentially a request for $30,000 to move into the medical account due to unforeseen medical issues more than what was anticipated within the department. This essentially should be able to get us through the remainder of this fiscal year. And with that, I would hope that we can count on adoption this evening.
And this will note that Councilor Famico's recused herself. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Councilor Epley's motion for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $3,234 from the capital outlay equipment account to be expended for the design, fabrication, and installation of Intrepid panel for Redmond Park by the planning department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. No objection. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would actually defer to the Ward 2 councilor if she wishes to speak on this.
Thank you.
All right, Councilor Famico.
So when Redmond Park was put into play, it was brought up by some residents who had attended the ribbon cutting there that there's this great park, but there really wasn't an interpretive panel that described the history of who the park was actually named after. So this right now will make it so when people go down there, they know the history of Redmond Park, and they'll be able to reflect on that as they're enjoying the views and taking the area in. So I'm thankful that the planning department responded to these requests, and that we'll be having this panel be put in the future.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councillor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor. Councillor Epley.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Wait.
We had an appropriation of
I got ahead of myself.
$2,400 from capital outlay renovation and repair account to be expended for repairs to the main elevator in the library.
Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councillor Epley moves for suspension of the rules. Being no objection, so moved. Councillor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll both get this right eventually. I move for adoption.
Councillor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for repair of the library elevator, and it's obviously necessary, so I'd encourage my colleagues to approve.
Any further discussion? I read the letter. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Now it's on. All right, record reflect that councilors, that most of the city council has just recused itself. No, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Famico, and Councillor Gerard have all recused themselves. Further communication from the mayor.
We have an order in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 64, which allows for a municipality to pay for prior fiscal year invoices using current fiscal year appropriations by a 2/3 vote of the City Council. A request of $2,324.32 of outstanding fiscal year 2016 Police Department invoices be paid from fiscal year 2017 police budget.
I'll ask just a procedural question here. We don't have 2/3 of the city council here at the moment. We only have 7 members here at the moment, so would that be 2/3 of the eligible members, or?
It's, Mr. President, pursuant to the rules, it's 2/3 of all members, so it's not just. So my suggestion would be that we actually defer action on this particular item to I move that this matter be taken up at a date certain, namely Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m.
All right, so Councillor Epley is going to move that this be deferred to a date certain of the Monday, the 19th at 6 p.m. when we already are scheduling a meeting, because yes, we do have the dilemma that we don't have 2/3 of the members present for that. Councillor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd also ask that I respect the fact that certain members of the body have to recuse themselves for whatever perceived conflict that they have, but at the same time, if they could also reach out to the city solicitor to make sure that that conflict isn't specific to this exact appropriation, because obviously this is something that needs to get approved, and by the rules, we have to do it by 2/3. So I respect the fact that the members get up and left because of perceived contact with their connection with either the police department or the North Shore Medical Center or whatever it was. But if they could actually review with the city solicitor their conflict to make sure that the next time we don't have this problem.
Yeah, this may be sufficiently small as to.
Exactly.
Allow for that. Councillor Epley?
I would note that actually the conflict clause, from my recollection, are that if there are an insufficient number of councilors due to a conflict, that as long as the conflict is revealed to the public during that meeting, that they have the ability, because of the fact that we have too few people present, that they can act in that process. So I hope that I agree with the Ward 1 councilor.
I concur.
So, Councillor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we want to go with that rule tonight and do this? And then if it's not the rule, we can do it again on December 19th? I don't know. What's the easiest way to do it?
I would say, given the amount, I have no issue with that. But in particular, I will say we only have one of the members who's recused would be in direct conflict with this as an employee. The other 2 have family conflicts and are not directly involved in this. But Councilor McCarthy?
If I may, I totally concur with everything that's being said. The only thing is, since we are going to be at some point scheduling an additional quick meeting sometime later this month, if this was going to carry over to next year, I would definitely invoke the rule tonight. But since we have the availability in a week's time to take care of this, I think we should just do it. Cross all our T's, dot all the I's, and make sure we do it right.
And one final point to cap that off is that this really is technically a bookkeeping issue. That's all it comes down to.
Right, exactly.
In terms of what budget we're using. So it's not, I don't imagine it being an issue once we address it on December 19th.
All right, I would suggest we should get a guidance for any future occurrences that are this simple, so we'll stick with that for now. So on the motion that this be deferred to the date certain of December 19th at 6 p.m. And added to our agenda for that special meeting, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Now everybody can go back. That was confusing. Further communication from the mayor.
In order to accept a donation of $1,400,000 from the Williams family to the Park and
that'd be
Recreation
nice.
Donation Fund.
Councilor Epley.
I move for, well, first of all, I would amend that by stating that the friendly amendment that it's $1,400 rather than $1.4 million.
Which would be delightful.
Is that what I said? Wishful thinking.
Regardless, on behalf of the city, well, I move for adoption of $1,400 be accepted.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now that you've just given back almost $1 million.
Yeah, we just within just a moment there, I gave away $1.3 million and change. I do want to thank the Williams family for the very generous donation of $1,400 for the picnic table that they intend to place in one of our parks, and thank them on behalf of the city of Salem.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, and Councilor Epley's motion for adoption. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor.
Okay, in order to accept a donation for $1,000 from the former German Film Company to the Park and Recreation Donation Fund.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
I just want to again thank the Van Warmer German Film Company for their generous donation to our Parks and Rec Department. A portion of this money is going to be used for wireless internet within our parks.
Weren't those folks who were here doing the reality TV earlier this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yes, so any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Page, we've done this. Resolution. So we now pick up at page 15. Leaping ahead. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please, Mr. President, fellow members, if I may. December 8, 2016, ordered that the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, and Legal Affairs co-posted with the Committee of the Whole meet to discuss a home rule petition reducing the speed limit 25 miles per hour citywide in Salem, and that the following be invited: the mayor or her representative, police, traffic and parking director, and city solicitor. And if I may add, this Rule 31B be suspended to allow this to be carried over to next year, 2017.
So Councilor Fury moves that the Committee on Legal Affairs proposed committee of the whole meet to discuss home rule petitions reducing the speed limit to 25 miles per hour citywide, and that Rule 31B be waived to allow it to carry over. I think anything posted at this meeting automatically would carry over because we've had the carryover. So Councilor Fury's motion for adoption under discussion.
Yes, please. This will require a home rule petition. On Monday, I visited Boston City Hall and spoke to the aide of the city councilor, Frank Baker, who introduced his order in Boston. And in late March, it went to the subcommittee for study and reported out favorably. The full city council of Boston passed it and was signed by Mayor Marty Walsh. He sent it on to the state legislature under a home rule petition. It was passed and signed by Governor Baker. It goes into effect on the second week of January in Boston. No traffic study was needed at all. Cambridge is now doing the same thing that I wish Salem would do. The speed limit may be reduced from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour. There is an option to go to 20 miles in certain areas of the city. This would affect all of us in a positive and safe manner. Many of us get into a near accident each day of the week. jaywalking, mopeds, skateboards, bicycles, pedestrians, joggers, solar glare, black ice, speeders, and potholes. And a computer wouldn't have to do that, but for many drivers, 30 may be the speed limit, but in reality, 35 plus is more in reality. Now more than ever, speed is a public safety issue for all of us with driving. Using prescription drugs, overuse of over-the-counter drugs, cell phones, texting, twittering, drinking coffee and other beverages, listening to loud music. In the near future, we'll be dealing with recreational use of marijuana, suffering medical emergencies like heart attacks and strokes, driving, sleep deprivation, drowsiness, fatigue, and all the things that we deal with on a daily basis. Salem is a rich and great city that takes pride in being a mecca for tourists who enjoy visiting and walking throughout the city of Salem. We have a high population of senior citizens and college students who must walk, as well as our own public school students. Salem has over 22 different languages in the city of public schools. So I sincerely believe it is in the right time to consider this option of reducing the speed limit from 30 to 25 miles, and with the option of 20 in some designated areas in the city of Salem. I drive a Volvo, which is known for safety, safety, safety. I believe sincerely this order on a home rule petition is for safety, safety, safety. We all need to drive slower. This option will give us the common ground of speed safety throughout the city of Salem. It would not change speed limits on entrance corridors and state corridors, state roads. It would be a big, big plus for all residential areas to walk and drive and go to school in, especially for our neighborhoods. We are a city of neighborhoods, and this would be a win-win for all of us. I believe if we do this, our fellow cities and towns in the area will also do so. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Further discussion, Councilor Formico.
Thank you, Mr. President. First off, thank you to the at-large councilor for bringing this in. Following in other cities, I'm glad that Salem's looking at this. Just wondering if we could potentially put this to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment versus Ordinance License Legal Affairs, whereas it's a home rule petition and not an ordinance change. And also it deals with, kind of, as you said, safety is number one. I don't know if the at-large councilor would be amenable to that.
No, I would not be, I'd be in favor of that, indeed. It's going to be a slow process. It took Boston from last March. They'll be instituted now in January of 2017. So I want a slow, methodical process because this is going to affect all of us. So I would agree.
Home rules are legal affair, though.
So,
No, sir.
yeah, so Councilor Formico has proposed a friendly amendment to Councilor Fury to move to change that to being referred to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-posed to the Committee of the Whole, instead of Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs, and Councilor Fury has accepted that. So, for the discussion, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the at-large councilor for bringing this in. I'm still, I don't know where I stand on it, but I think it's a good conversation to have for the city. I can say that for side streets throughout Ward 4, and I presume throughout the rest of the city, I've had several residents at different times ask me if they can get a potential reduction on their street for a litany of very good reasons. So this is a great opportunity, I think, for the City Council to have this discussion, so thank you.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also, too, want to recognize my at-large colleague. Last year, I was able to get Lee Street reduced to 25 miles an hour, but that process took about 5 months from start to finish because I had to, I mean, I think it's great to do a speed study. I think it's important to look at these streets street by street, and especially with the new traffic and parking director, I think that that's going to be very helpful, working in conjunction with the traffic division of Salem Police. But then getting the speed study done, then appealing, writing to the state, and then waiting on a letter. I even got a letter at one point in July just saying, okay, we got it and we're reviewing it. I mean, and it still took months before I could bring it to all of you, which thankfully all of you signed. And the residents of Lee Street are much happier now, but that took months because we didn't have the the home rule allowance to take care of it with our, on our own. So I appreciate this, and I look forward to this discussion.
Yeah, Councilor Ryan.
I think the bigger problem is going to be the enforcement. We need more enforcement because I drive by Lee Street now all the time and I see people cutting through, and I'm like, the police can't be everywhere. So whether it's when they do catch them, then it's going to be a bigger hit. But it can't hurt. I mean, because if nothing's posted, it's going to be 30 miles an hour. Now, if nothing's supposed to be 20, which gives the police officer more reason to write a ticket. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Councilor McCarthy. And
I also want to rise and thank the good at-large council for bringing it in, because I can't tell you how many times someone's come to me and requested let's put up, the speed is going down the street, let's put up some signs. And I'd work with Lieutenant Brzezinski, and if we were to post the sign as by ordinance by the state, it would encourage people to go faster than what we wanted them to do, because we'd have to post it at 30, and the idea is we want to try to slow them down. And we all have certain streets in our wards that we want people to slow down on, and I think this will just be a nice tool to be able to, when people after the fact now look at us and try to request something, that we can actually post something legally at a reduced speed, because sometimes if you post it the way this, with the definitions from the state, we'd be encouraging people to go faster in some places, when the idea is we want to try to slow people down. So I think it'll be a nice tool and a nice option to have for everybody to be able to do that.
Thank you. Councilor Dibble.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I also rise in support of this. The good at-large councilor, I spoke to him prior to this meeting saying this is an excellent measure. Outside of the some 200 parked cars of Salem State students parked in residential neighborhoods, this is the #1 thing that I've heard when I've gone door to door and walking Ward 7 streets over and over and over again on Marion Road, Sumner Road, Patton Road, even little side street, doesn't matter how big the streets are, everybody's asking, what can we do to get the cars to slow down? I've gone to the point of, in my emails that I send out, the last line is, please slow down while you're driving, over and over and over again. But being a freshman counselor, I was able to get Sumner Road changed to 25 miles an hour to help with to slow the cars down that were cutting through that residential neighborhood from Jefferson Avenue down to Loring Avenue, avoiding the light. That took 2 weeks, Counselor, but it needed to happen. Just want to point that out. The exception I'd like to see is maybe the 2 state highways being that small section of Loring Avenue and then Island Avenue, because that's a higher yield, higher capacity. So maybe 30 or 40, but actually 30 would be good for those, I think.
State highways are separate. So.
I realize that, but when we're writing this thing so there's no gray area, I think we need to specify that these are outside of this scope. We're saying this document is citywide, but we should clarify it so there's no gray area. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Fury's motion that this be, what, Councilor Gard?
Sorry, just for clarification, if you don't petition the state, then it can't be enforced.
Well, the committee will have to craft the petition, the home rule petition, and then the body will have to pass it, so.
Okay.
On Councilor Fury's motion that this be referred to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, and co-posed to the Committee of the Whole, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, resolutions. Councilor Famico, I believe? Or is Councilor Sargent have it? Councilor Sargent.
For Councilor Lovely. Thank you, Mr. President. In the year 2016, an ordinance amendment relative to traffic be it ordained by the City Council, the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, is hereby amended by adding the following. Mount Vernon Street, in front of number 14, Mount Vernon Street for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking only, tow zone. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter, and it has a recommendation of the Salem Police Lieutenant Brzezinski.
On Councilor Sargent's motion for adoption for first passage, under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Sargent, motion for adoption for first passage. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2016, an ordinance amendment relative to traffic be it ordered the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, is hereby amended by repealing the following. Repeal Becker Street in front of number 18 Becker Street for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect provided by city charter.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption of first passage, under discussion.
Briefly, this request was made and then the petitioner moved. And the residents of the area have asked that it be repealed because there is no longer a need because the resident is no longer there.
Okay, on Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption of first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Committee reports. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, 2016. The Committee on License Order of Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting of certain licenses, has considered said matter and recommend approval. Junk dealers tag days.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
No discussion, Mr. President.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, 2016. Committee on Ordinance and License and Legal Affairs, co-posted Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter to execute a deed to convey North Shore Medical Center a parcel of dedicated parkland adjacent to Bertram Field in exchange for a deed from North Shore Medical Center to the City of Salem. It shall be dedicated for park purposes. The citizen matter would recommend that the order be adopted as amended.
Let the record reflect that Councilors Girard and Famico are recused. On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adopting the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This matter came before us a couple weeks back. It was we had a meeting prior to our last council meeting, but under the rules, since we had the meeting after the date of the posted agenda, we weren't able to take it up. The committee met at that time. Council Lovely, who's not here with us, whose ward this matter is in, had worked with the city solicitor for all the approved amended language that we see. Councilor Lovely also spoke about the community benefits argument with regards to this, and he also is working with the mayor to make sure that the language is in place that is acceptable moving forward. And at this point, I know it's very important because a lot of the work that's being done up there to keep this project moving, that the recommendation would be to adopt the order as amended. We all have a copy of it.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, any further discussion? Seeing none. Well, Councilor Ripley.
I just have a question. Is this, we're actually voting on the deed itself at this point? And if so, do we not need to do that by roll call vote and have a supermajority?
Now that we've accepted the report, I would wholeheartedly agree, and the city clerk has it.
And if that is the case...
We're confronted with that again?
No.
So if that is in fact the case, and making sure that if there is, before we go to vote, I would suggest that...
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, if there's no one, presuming that everyone is in favor, then we should proceed with the vote. However, if we're not, we should keep this in committee.
Exactly. Without Councilor Lovely being able to be here, through you, Mr. President, I commend the Ward 4 Council for bringing this to my attention, is the fact that it does require a 2/3 vote. And it's a 2/3 of the whole, which would require 8. So if anyone at this point has any reservations about moving forward on this tonight, I suggest that you speak now, because so I'm not asking you to tell us what your vote's going to be, but if you have any questions or you're not 100% certain, I know that Council Lovely worked very hard with all the parties involved with this to come up with language that was acceptable to him and to for his ward, because it is in his ward. All that being said, because if there was one dissenting vote among the 8 of us left, that means this matter would be shot down and would not be couldn't be carried over, and then someone would have to reintroduce it next year. And I know it's a timely matter, and I know that's why Councilor Lovely wanted to bring it out at the last meeting, but we couldn't. So if anyone at this time has something to say or has a question that I may try to answer, if not, then I'm going to make an assumption that we have 8 votes, and then we're going to go forward with a roll call vote.
Seeing none, I would say on adoption of the recommendation, which is for us to pass this by roll call vote. by a 2/3 majority by roll call vote. First of all, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. So the recommendation is for a roll call vote. If we can get that set up. And Madam City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Counselor Dibble?
Yes.
Counselor Epley?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Milo?
Yes.
Counselor Ryan?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes. On the question of executing a deed to convey the North Shore Medical Center a parcel of dedicated parkland adjacent to Bertram Field as amended, 8 councilors present, 8 voting, all in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you to my colleague from across the aisle for bringing that to my attention. I mean, we said this earlier, but I really think that it doesn't happen too often, but it's definitely a matter that we need to talk to the city solicitor about, because it could have become something that wasn't needed to be, but anyway. The City of Salem, City Council, December 8, 2016. The Committee on Ordinances, License and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of carrying forward certain matters, has considered said matter and recommend that Rule 31B be suspended and that the attached matters be carried into 2017.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Briefly, Mr. President, attached is the tracking sheet. The committee went through and carried over certain items that are marked carryover, and the rest of them are discharged. And I'm sure if the city clerk has any questions on my scribbles, that will go through them. But the will of the committee was to carry some things over and allow other things that have been in committee for a while or that have been acted upon to be removed from committee. Or not carry over, so they'll be effectively done in committee.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, December 8, 2016, and City Council, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an order to authorize the mayor to purchase property located at 289 Derby Street on behalf of the City of Salem for $1.4 million. Said land shall be subject to an open space preservation restriction. Has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, there will be several of these particular committee reports that I'll be doing in series here. The first 2 of which will essentially die in committee at the end of this year. But what we will be doing, and I'll be talking about this a little bit later, but for 2 or 3 of these committee reports, the Derby Street matter will be referred to a further City Council meeting, which will be held on December 19th. So we're just basically clearing the decks in that respect.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, December 8, 2016, in City Council, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of a bond order in the amount of $1.4 million to be appropriated to pay costs for the Community Preservation Act project, the acquisition of 289 Derby Street for recreation purposes, and the payment of all costs incidental and related, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
No discussion.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, December 8, 2016, in City Council, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation of $100,000 from CPA funds to CPA 289 Derby Street design and costs. Has considered said matter and would recommend that the appropriation be adopted by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move that this matter be continued to a date certain, namely December 19th, 2016 at 6 p.m.
On Councilor Epley's motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McCarthy. Under discussion. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to make it put on record now that at that meeting, I would like us to have a suspension of the rules to allow some public comment. I know it's not on the agenda, but whereas it was here and carried forward, I'd like, if there are members of the public present at that meeting, that they have the ability to speak.
I would adopt that as a friendly amendment to my motion.
Well, I guess to add to it than to have an item for public comment, or just that night that we can suspend the rules to allow it.
Can always suspend the rules.
We could always suspend the rules, but my intention will be to suspend the rules that night, because I know there's been some discussions to make sure that people know that they can speak that night as well, and it wasn't just limited until tonight when we had that as part of our regular council meeting.
Yeah, I will just say from the chair that normally public comment is not a part of a special council meeting, so we'll have to make sure there's got to be some mechanism by which we can some mechanism by which we can do that, hopefully. So
You can suspend the rules as long as no one objects.
Okay, so Councilor Epley?
To that point, though, if we wanted to, even if we were wanting to suspend the rules, we would still want this to not be unwieldy in the sense that we would still want to limit it to 15 minutes. And we would also want people to be able to sign up so that they could, typical to our regular meeting. So I think a separate motion may be appropriate for that if there's to be a sign-up period.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we'd have to do that as an order or not. Councilor Gerard?
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. President. That's actually my question. If it's a committee meeting, why do we have to have a
No,
Senate?
it's not. It's the council meeting.
It's going to be okay.
So it's a special council meeting.
Got it.
Councilor Milo?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would make that motion to limit it to 15 minutes and have people sign up if that makes it easier.
All right, we just have to make sure that we have it within, basically, we just have to make sure that we're doing it right, however it is. So, I mean, we accept the motion, but we'll have to check and make sure that we have everything correct before we go into it that night. I have no problem with it. But I don't want to wind up saying it here. If we can, we'll accept that motion, and I assume there's a second on it, but by everybody, which is good. And we just have to make sure that we do it properly for that evening. So if there's any question that comes up, we'll check on that. So on adoption of the recommendation, on adoption of Councilor Epley's motion, we're not adopting the recommendation yet. On Councilor Epley's motion that this be continued to time and date certain of December 19th at 6 p.m. and that we use whatever mechanism we can to allow a public comment period equivalent to our normal city council comment period. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, December 8, 2016, in City Council, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of an order pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 79, that the city solicitor shall prepare and submit to the City Council all necessary documents, including the order of taking, to take by eminent domain, on behalf of the City of Salem, the property located at 289 Derby Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the attached order of taking prepared by the city solicitor relative to the taking of 289 Derby Street by eminent domain be adopted by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter also be continued with the comment period that we talked about to a date certain on December 19th, 2016 at 6 p.m.
Councilor Epley moves that this be continued to date certain of Monday, December 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. Seconded by Councilor Dibble. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. Okay. I just want to point out to my colleagues and also to those at home that there is, in fact, a draft ordinance. It was circulated during the committee meeting, but if anyone needs a copy among my colleagues, please let me know, and we can make sure that you get a copy of that draft order, and that should also be available, hopefully, to the public as well.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Epley's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8, 2016. The Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of a bond order in the amount of $1.4 million to be appropriated to pay costs for the eminent domain taking of 289 Derby Street, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter be adopted for first passage by roll call vote.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move that this matter be continued with the relevant public availability for testimony to a date certain on December 19th, 2016 at 6 p.m.
Councilor Epley moves that this be continued to date certain on Monday, December 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City of Salem, December 8, 2016, in City Council, the Committee on Administration and Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom is referred the matter of amending an ordinance relative to the pay for the City Council solely for the purpose of separating any future increase in the pay for the mayor from any future increase in pay for the City Council. Has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee and that Rule 31B be suspended to carry forward.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor, all those opposed, so moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. During our Monday committee hearing, this matter came up. It was actually a matter that I had introduced at the beginning of this past year. It was voted on a 3-2 basis that this matter remain in committee. I was one of the dissenting voices on that vote. The reason for bringing that forward, Mr. President, is that I believe that it is important for us as a body to vote separately whenever we're voting on the pay for a mayor, that we vote separately for our own pay. There was discussion during the meeting among committee members as well as the Committee of the Whole that it's much that this is the process that has been in place for several years, and that it is a mechanism for if the mayor's worth one amount, then each one of us is worth 10% of that amount. Was essentially one of the factors that one of my colleagues had brought up. Another was that if we do not. If we change this, then ostensibly there would never be an increase for city council pay. The committee has requested that this remain in committee. On my own personal level, I would hope that we actually vote on this tonight.
On adoption of the recommendation, any further discussion? Seeing none on the recommendation that this remain in committee and be carried over, all those in favor? Opposed?
Opposed.
So moved. 2 members recorded opposed. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, December 8, 2016, in City Council. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend that Rule 31B be suspended and that the attached matters be carried into 2017.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Similar to my colleague from Ward 1 and chair of the OLA committee, there were several matters that we looked at during the committee meeting, most of which are going to be discharged, but there are a few that will be sticking around. And I would waive the reading.
Yeah. So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, December 8th, 2016, the Committee on Community and Economic Development co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of discussing the use of municipal public garages and surface lots, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter remain in committee and that Rule 31B be suspended to carry this matter forward into 2017.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Just a brief discussion. We had a pretty comprehensive discussion about parking and parking rates, parking lots, and we discovered that our new automated system is going to be providing a lot of data in the future. So we decided to keep this in committee so that we could have probably a broader, deeper discussion in the new year.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in City Council, December 8th, 2016, the Committee on Community and Economic Development, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and would recommend that Rule 31B be suspended and the attached matters be carried into 2017.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Just briefly, we had 3 matters sitting in committee. We decided to move all of them forward to 2017, and I think, Mr. President, you'll be happy to know that one of those matters is a discussion on food trucks.
Good, that'll save me a little paperwork. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Fury.
Yes, please.
Councilor Trio?
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, December 8, 2016. The Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of carrying matters forward, has considered said matter and recommend that Rule 31B be suspended and the attached matters be carried in 2017.
On acceptance of the committee's report, all in favor? Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. As all the other committees have done, the Committee of the Whole met this evening, reviewed the long list of stuff that had been put in it. We discharged a number of matters and prepared a list of a few things that we are in fact carrying forward for, for the entire council's sake, and we have submitted that. Thank you.
Any further discussion by council on the adoption of the recommendation? All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved.
Communication city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a petition from Verizon and Mass Electric to install a jointly owned pole at number 6 Lovett Street.
Hearing order, January 12, 2017. Further petitions.
We have an application from Footprint Power for an inflammable license to increase the gallons of inflammable liquids to be kept stored above ground for the property located at 24 Fort Avenue, Salem.
Hearing also order, January 12, 2017. Further petitions.
We have a list of license applications for public guides.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move they be granted.
Councilor McCarthy moves they be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor McCarthy's motion, they be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have one taxi operator license application.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move it be granted.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion, Mr. President.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion to be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have 2 taxi operator licenses for Gerald Pina and Oscar Garcia that were denied.
Councilor McCarthy.
I move that they be denied.
Councilor McCarthy moves they be denied. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor McCarthy's motion, these licenses be denied. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a request from Gerald Pina to hold a hearing on the denial of his taxi operator license.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on License Order Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be referred to the Committee on North's License and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session. Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a request from Oscar Garcia to hold a hearing on the denial of his taxi operator license.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on License Order Legal Affairs to hold an executive session.
Councilor McCarthy moves this be referred to the Committee on North's License and Legal Affairs to hold executive session. Under discussion?
No discussion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have license applications for junkyard, seaworms, secondhand clothing, and secondhand valuable.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on License Orders and Legal Affairs.
Councilor McCarthy moves to be referred to Committee on North's License and Legal Affairs. Under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have 3 claims and 1 subrogated claim.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on License Orders and Legal Affairs.
Councilor McCarthy moves to be referred to Committee on North's License and Legal Affairs. Under discussion?
No discussion, Mr. President.
McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Unfinished business.
Oh, it's me. We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap park at limited time, Ord Street, in front of number 8, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Counselor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Counselor McCarthy, Counselor Epley's motion for adoption for second and final passage. I get used to seeing him in front of me. All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Devereaux Street, in front of number 2, Devereaux, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Counselor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Counselor Gerard moves for adoption for second and final passage. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Counselor Gerard's motion for adoption for second and final passage. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Wheatland Street, in front of number 12, Wheatland, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Counselor Sargent, do you want to get that one, or?
Excuse that. No.
Counselor Sargent, it's one of...
Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Counselor Sargent moves for adoption for second and final passage. Under discussion.
Yeah, none.
Any no discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Laurel Street, in front of number 14, Laurel, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Counselor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption for second and final passage.
Counselor Gerard moves for adoption for second and final passage. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Counselor Gerard's motion for adoption for second and final passage. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further unfinished business.
We have second passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, limited time, Emerton Street, easterly side along number 2, Emerton, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone.
Counselor Famico.
Move for adoption for second and final passage.
Counselor Famico moves for adoption for second and final passage. Under discussion.
No.
On Counselor Famico's motion for adoption for second and final passage. All those in favor? All those opposed? So moved. Any other business? See none? Counselor Fury.
Mr. President, a motion to adjourn.
Counselor Fury moves we adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? We are adjourned.
Sitting me next to Dibble.